hearing the podcast, Answering the Doubters. Now, we have in today's podcast a question or a comment that says that Jesus could not be the Messiah because nowhere in the Old Testament it states about the Messiah being an offering for sins. Let's hear this.
Well, it's interesting. The Torah never says, and that's what Mike believes in, talking about Torah and all the Hebrew scriptures, never says that the Messiah is going to be a sacrifice anywhere in the scriptures that they can point to. It said.
Now, we hear this. This is by Rabbi Tovia Singer in 1992. He said, there is nowhere in the Old Testament where it says the Messiah will be an offering for sins. Now, is that true? We read in a Jewish translation. It's called the Rabbi Leeser translation of Isaiah 53, verse 10. But the Lord was pleased to crush him through disease, when now his soul have brought the trespass offering. Then shall he see his seed live many days, and the pleasure of the Lord shall prosper in his hand. Notice, when now his soul have brought the trespass offering. What is that? The offering for sins. If we was to read it in the New King James Version, Isaiah 53 verse 10, yet it pleased the Lord to bruise him. He has put him to grief when you make his soul an offering for sin. And in the JBS translation, which is a Jewish translation, it says, yet it pleased the Lord to crush him by disease, to see if his soul will offer itself in restitution. What does restitution mean? Restitution is an act of giving back to a person something that was lost or stolen, or of paying them money for the loss. In other words, restitution means an offering. Do you understand what I'm saying? So the Old Testament says the Messiah is gonna die as an offering for sins. It doesn't say it that it's not an offering for sins. No, it says that it is an offering for sins. The Bible is very clear on that. The Messiah's death will be an offering for sins. And then we have verses by verses talking about the crucifixion of Jesus. We could think about Zacharias 12 verse 10. What does Zacharias 12 verse 10 says? Oh, brothers and sisters, this is what it says. And I will pour on the house of David and on the inhabitants of Jerusalem the spirit of grace and supplication. Grace means unmerited favor. Then they will look on me whom they have pierced. Yes, they will mourn for him as one mourns for his only son, and grieve for him as one grieves for his firstborn. Notice it says very clearly the Messiah is to be pierced. And we read in Psalms 22. What does Psalms 22 says? Psalms 22 says the following. In verses 16, for dogs have surrounded me. The congregation of the wicked have enclosed me. They pierced my hands and my feet. They pierced. If you was to check the Jewish translation, it says, like a lion, they are at my hands and feet. And if we was to check the Leeser translation, what does it says? So hold on one second, let me find it. The Leeser translation says about Psalms 22. The following. Like lions, they threaten my hands and my feet. Okay, what does a lion does? A lion pierces with his teeth. It causes injury. And if you was to check the Septuagint, this agrees with the Septuagint translation. The Septuagint says the following. Let me find the Greek Septuagint. Give me a second, brothers and sisters. How does it says? The Septuagint, which is the Greek version of the Old Testament, written around 200 BC. It says the following. It says, they pierce my hands and my feet. This was written by Jewish scholars. And they pierce my hands and my feet. And also, the Dead Sea Scrolls agrees with this. So, brothers and sisters, the Old Testament clearly states that the Messiah is to be an offering for sins. Unlike many rabbis say that doesn't say about the Messiah being an offering for sins, yet the Old Testament does. The Tanakh says it clearly. With this, we'll end today's program. And you was hearing Answering the Doubters. And I want you to know, brothers and sisters, if you have any doubts on the Bible, please send it to me at revkakalides@gmail.com. You can either send me an MP3 1 to 3 minute argument of what you're doubting, or you can write it down and we will answer your doubts.